Now you guys know how I feel about the American justice system. It could either go one way or the other. Typically there's a lot of corruption, but I think that there's a good judge in the Diddy case. At least they're recognizing that Diddy cannot be released because the community is in danger. I mean, we've seen how many victims he has. It's well over 120. And it's actually refreshing to see that there is someone so rich who's being denied again and again. On Friday, Diddy appeared unshackled. Okay. Can you imagine if they made him walk around? I mean, I guess they do typically, it is prison. But he appeared unshackled in a New York courtroom alongside his attorneys to make an appeal to be released on bail for the 4th time. The judge is probably so frustrated with him at this point, like, leave me alone. It's like those guys in high school that ask the girls, like, where's my hug? It's like, no, man, I've told you 4 times now, you're not getting your hug. Report writes that the court finds the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will lead to him being released, because he keeps saying, oh, you guys can take my Miami home, you could take my mother's home, you could have every single dollar in my bank account. And I think there's a reason why he's so desperate. I mean, think about it, guys. It is Diddy. If he had a way to go and get out of this and escape the country, he's gonna do it.
Sean, Diddy Combs has been denied bail once again. That ruling coming down just moments ago. It is the 3rd time he has been denied bail. Combs' lawyers had argued that he should be released and placed on home confinement. The judge today cited evidence saying Combs is a serious risk of witness tampering and said he has violated regulations in jail.
Lock him up. Let's keep him locked up because, again, I think there's a lot of his minions out here and people who are working on his side, and it's just too dangerous for him to be released because he's got like his own little like Diddy police force of people who are going to go threaten, or the private investigators who are trying to come after me. So that's why I ran away to Tokyo. Not really, but it is scary. I mean, you can't silence me though. You know, I feel like when it comes to me, my position and my channel, I will always fight for what's right, and I'm not worried about like, yeah, come after me, let's do it. I'm not going to tell everyone about it. Living fearlessly. And I'm glad this judge is too, because being a judge is a scary position to be in. I mean, imagine if he had one of his people go and off the judge, allegedly, so he got someone else to make this decision. But the judge wrote that there's a serious risk of witness tampering and direct evidence of Diddy's violence. We all know that Diddy has been using some of his friends in jails, their phones, to go and contact people who are going to expose him, speak against him, and he's going to ask them to reconsider. That's probably a nice way of saying what he's actually saying to them. He's probably saying, like, yeah, if you like your mother, if you love your daughter, then you're not going to go to court and say a damn thing. The judge also cited text messages between Diddy and Cassie from hours and days following that attack we saw in the hotel. She wrote, I have a black eye and a fat lip. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you've done. With another text reading, I still have crazy bruising. Let's do just a little quick shout out to Cassie. I mean, she's such a sweet woman. She's always had such a light and bright energy. I am so sorry, Cassie, that you had to go through that. No woman should ever have to, no person should ever be in that type of situation. And I'm sorry that her light was dimmed by this monster. It's not fair. Imagine this, you've been in an accident or someone you love has been seriously hurt. Suddenly you're facing a mountain of medical bills, paperwork, and insurance companies that don't want to pay what you deserve. Now, what if I told you there was a simple solution to this nightmare? Getting compensation when you are entitled to can be tricky, with many personal injury firms giving you the runaround, drowning you in paperwork and settling for less than what you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Morgan & Morgan steps in. As America's largest injury firm, they've modernized the entire process. With over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, they have the resources to take on big insurance companies and give you the money you deserve. And trust me, they don't settle for low-ball offers. Just this year, they secured a $26 million settlement in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the highest insurance offer. And there are plenty more stories like that. You could just fill out a simple form in minutes. No appointments, no complicated paperwork. Everything is done from your phone. Plus, it's totally free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan makes the process easy and stress-free. You can head over to forthepeople.com/Sloan. You can also find that link in the description below to get started. Remember, the process is free unless you win. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. The judge is also citing evidence that Diddy violated rules about communication behind bars, including paying other inmates to use their phone so that he can make calls to people that are not approved on his contact list.
There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated, despite having an order that says he's not supposed to.
And that's part of exactly what the judge is saying, that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. I mean, Mike Muse, that is quite a statement here when someone is trying to get out on bail, noting that his defense lawyer said let him out on bail. He would be in his 3-bedroom apartment right in New York and that he would be monitored at all times. And the judge just not buying it.
Now, Diddy's previous requests for bond were rejected by judges, even though Diddy did not only put up his $50 million beach mansion as collateral, but also offered to be on house arrest with around-the-clock security and no contact with these victims. But we don't believe you because you're still doing this in jail. 2 judges separately concluded that Diddy posed a threat to the community. That's for damn right. And you guys know, like, when it comes to security and such, to make sure that Diddy is taken care of, the government has spent so much money, so much of our hard tax money just investigating this man and taking him down. And I'm glad they are, but we're not going to live in this world where now he gets like some extra security detail and it's even more money. And I think the only way that he could do this is if he pays for it himself. So again, do you think that like if a security company is hired by Diddy, they're going to say no to him when they say, when he tells them like, hey, yeah, I know I told you these rules for the judge, but when we're back at home, things change.
Prosecutors say he has been engaging in unauthorized communications, such as 3-way phone calls on a monitored phone, using other inmates' phone access codes to make phone calls, and using a third-party text messaging provider. And they alleged he was doing all of this to instruct third parties to reach out to witnesses and even try to influence a potential jury pool. And by the way, influencing a potential jury pool, that's with respect to the allegation that he orchestrated a social media campaign around his birthday. You might remember this. His family released a video of them wishing him a happy birthday, good wishes, while he's on the phone. He's on the other line. He's locked up, but you hear him on the other line. They're all happy. Everybody's happy. And prosecutors say the aim for that was to influence potential jurors. They have evidence to say that was his intent.
I find it insane that the most humanizing moment in this entire investigation situation with Diddy being locked up was this birthday video. But it's not humanizing at all when you realize that he had a goal to go and persuade the public. It's not like they do this every year for their dad's birthday. He had a plan, which makes me question, does he have freedom of speech? Is that protected? Because he's in jail, does he lose that right? I think ultimately it's not about freedom of speech. I think it's about intention, and he has a strong intention to find one jury member out there that doesn't believe the evidence against him so that he could walk free. It only takes one person in this jury that we're going to have that could really pull the plug on this whole thing. Prosecutors argued in court that Diddy poses too much of a threat to victims if released from prison ahead of his trafficking and racketeering trial. It looks like he's been using an app called Contact Me ASAP. It's a service for inmates, and he has been lying about his use on this app. Comment below, do you guys know anyone who's in jail or in prison and use Contact Me ASAP? I've never heard this before. Comment below, do you guys have any pen pals that you have this app that you use? During the 2-hour court hearing Friday, his defense said that Diddy stopped using this service, this Contact Me ASAP app, on November 16th. But then, of course, prosecutors said, hey, hold up. We have evidence to show that you used it on the 24th. So another lie. And I don't understand, how did these lawyers on Diddy's side get away with lying? Isn't that ethically against the rules of being a lawyer? When you go and take the bar, in which the bar is an organization that manages law licenses and practices and things, you have to go and operate with integrity, which is why a lot of times if you are Diddy's lawyer, you won't ask him did you really do this? Because they can't know, because they can't knowingly go and defend someone who is actually a criminal. So I'm assuming that Mark probably has a good idea of what Diddy has done, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a moment where he says don't actually tell me, because if you do, that violates my ethics as a lawyer. Because they're not going to let him go down to Florida, Diddy did propose a home confinement situation with a 3-bedroom Upper East Side apartment with 24/7 security. Which, where did this apartment come from? He's just got properties all over, which is probably how he was so successful at trafficking people. The court doubts any sufficiency of any conditions that place trust in Diddy and individuals he employs, like a private security detail, to follow those conditions, because this man does not stay true to his word. Like for that birthday video, they found evidence that explicitly shows Diddy discussed his family how to ensure the video had his desired effect on potential jury members in the case, which is so weird to me that he's like planning and scheming with his children. I mean, I have to say, I think his sons are bad news, but that could be another deep dive. But Diddy's lawyers say that Diddy needs to be released so he could prepare for his trial in 2025. He also added that when police came into Diddy's cell earlier this month to seize material, that this was unlawful and that the documents that were seized were subject to attorney-client privilege. This is where it gets a little bit messy, because it does seem like the feds maybe jumped the gun a little bit too early. Granted, I don't think that this is going to stop justice, but Diddy's lawyer is painting this picture that the government is really against Diddy, so if they do violate any of his rights, it's not a good look. And it kind of gives Diddy like a defense, he could say, oh yeah, you guys stole those papers from me, now we can't use that as evidence, which then hurts their case, because we don't really know what the government has. We know they have that Cassie video, but what other physical evidence? Do they have those video clips and things like this we haven't heard about yet? Lisa Bloom, who's a lawyer for musician Don Richard, who filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, also alleges that he was contacting witnesses from prison and told BBC TV's Newsnight that Diddy was part of a complex multi-person arrangement, saying, quote, "We think it's very important that not only do predators get brought to justice, but those who conspire with them, who help them, and who are complicit are brought to justice as well." Which, yes, I want the whole team to go down. This makes me think of that story of that 13-year-old girl who was trying to get into the MTV VMAs, but of course she was denied. So she was hanging out outside in New York, just trying to possibly get in, when Diddy's driver saw her and invited her to one of his parties. Diddy did not know that this driver was inviting a 13-year-old girl. It didn't matter, because he ended up drugging her and R-wording her that night. So that driver who went and spent the 45 minutes like driving this little girl to the party for Diddy to use, that man should be locked up as well. I briefly mentioned the Abercrombie and Finch situation that's going on with Mike Jeffries. He's no longer the CEO, but he has been arrested and charged with a somewhat similar situation as Diddy's. I mean, granted, I think Diddy's is a lot worse. Mike Jeffries is still pretty bad, but they're trying to leverage Mike Jeffries' case and the fact that he got bail to justify that Diddy deserves the same treatment.
Judge Subramanian distinguishes Sean Combs' case from the Mike Jeffries case. The former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, who was just recently arrested on sex trafficking charges in New York. He's facing charges in federal court in the Eastern District of New York as opposed to the Southern District, but same thing. And the idea there was he was released on $10 million bail. Very similar allegations. But this is what the judge writes. In United States v. Jeffries, while the government raised danger, its principal concern with respect to defendant Mike Jeffries was flight. He had no criminal history. The alleged criminal conduct, which did not involve the kind of violence or RICO allegations made here, racketeering allegations made here, abated nearly a decade ago, and Jeffries was 80 years old. So that's how he's distinguishing that case from Combs.
Oh God, every time I see Mike Jeffries' face, I just know I'm going to have a nightmare that night. Like, I'm not looking forward to going to bed tonight, because that face, let's put a picture up there, because if I see it, you guys have to see it too. Like, geez. Only a mother could love. Also, I'm not even trying to make fun of his appearance. I just think that he is such a disgusting man for what he's done that you could see the evil through him. Now, here's an interesting story. So there is a lawsuit that's been filed against Diddy because he allegedly dangled a woman off of the 17th floor balcony of, like, I guess maybe a hotel or a building. Diddy has now been accused of dangling a woman off a West Coast apartment building balcony in Rage 8 years ago. That is so scary, because right now I'm in the Godzilla hotel in Tokyo. I'm on the 18th floor. Looking down, I literally start spinning. So imagine being dangled off 17 levels up. Now, this 17-page complaint declares the only purpose of dangling someone over the balcony is to kill them or to intentionally terrorize them and rob them of any concept of domination of their own bodily autonomy and safety. Now, her name is Brianna, but she goes by Banna, and the media mogul, Diddy, has been accused of dangling a woman off of a balcony. This was actually at Cassie's home, so it wasn't even his property. Banna claims in a court document that she was staying at Cassie's apartment at the time of the incident. She claims that Diddy came over late one night and began groping her. When she attempted to reject his advances, she claims that Diddy held her over the balcony, which was 17 stories from the ground. She goes on to claim that Diddy then pulled her back up and then physically attacked her by slamming her into the patio furniture. Banna is seeking more than $10 million in damages. Of course, Diddy is denying all of this, but wait, that sounds like so scary to be at your friend's house and then her boyfriend comes over, starts trying to touch you, you say no, so then he just goes on and attacks you. Like, I wonder what Cassie thought of like her boyfriend doing this to her friend. I mean, I think she's just so deep into this mess that they couldn't see the light. I'm sure Diddy's feeling really nervous with all these stories coming back to light. I mean, I wonder, because he is such a drug user, if he remembers a lot of this. I do think Jennifer Lopez remembers everything because she reportedly has a lot of anxiety right now. This article writes that J-Lo is reportedly battling with mental health issues since the arrest of Diddy. A source discussed with OK Magazine the current condition of J-Lo, which they noted that she was already doing her best trying to move on from her divorce with Ben Affleck. However, her ex-boyfriend's arrest made things even more complicated for her personal life. And it looks like she's getting some PTSD over it, which makes me question, wait, oh, hold up. So did J-Lo kind of have a similar like Cassie situation? I wonder like what this PTSD is stemming from. And I think that J-Lo probably has a very valid story and valid reasons to have PTSD because Diddy's clearly insanely violent. So I wonder what he did to her. Quote, J-Lo is terrified where this will all end as far as her involvement goes. Oof, it's likely she'll be formally interrogated. In addition, it's being reported that J-Lo wasn't just Diddy's girlfriend, but also kind of a confidant, someone that was aware of his crimes between the years 1999 through 2001. Quote, J-Lo had a very volatile relationship with Diddy. She doesn't want to talk about it and is desperately hoping it will all go away. They further dished out that she is ignoring all questions about Diddy, but she cannot ignore the anxiety that comes every time his name is mentioned. If you guys want to know why J-Lo is feeling so anxious, go and watch a video I posted a couple weeks ago about that night that she had with Diddy, where they could have allegedly R-worded that 13-year-old girl I was mentioning that was trying to get into the VMAs. It's so sad, actually. I get like the ick right now, just even talking about this, but it's important. We need to keep this story alive and make sure that this man is held accountable. I mean, it has to happen. We have to have it happen. I mean, we just need it just for also, I think, just like victim advocacy too. We need to like show the world that there is justice, that wrong actions like this are punishable, and even if you're rich as Diddy, you're gonna get yourself in trouble because what's right is right, and you can't buy your way out of it. But I want to hear what you guys think of this Diddy update in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed. My hair looks like interesting, right? I got my hair done here in Tokyo. I'm a little insecure about it, so please be nice in the comments. But until next time, I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.